Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of this series where we are studying about Greenfield Lakehouse on Microsoft Fabric. In part 1, just to recap, we studied about the architecture that is mentioned here, two types of processing, batch processing and stream processing. Batch processing is for historical data processed periodically, and stream processing is for real-time dashboard for like continuous stream of data from various sources like IoT devices, sensors, gadgets. And then we just went through briefly on both the approaches, and let us continue from here. So, cold path for batch analytics. A data warehouse uses relational SQL semantics and functions as the conventional approach for historical data analysis. But this pattern evolved, and a lakehouse became the industry standard for batch data analysis. A lakehouse is built on open source file format. Okay, unlike a traditional data warehouse, it supports structured, semi-structured and unstructured data, which is this one: unstructured, semi-structured relational database. A lakehouse supports structured, semi-structured and unstructured data. The compute layer in a lakehouse is typically built on Apache Spark framework, which is the preferred engine for processing big data because of its distributed computing capability and high performance. So basically, lakehouse supports structured, semi-structured and unstructured data, and the compute layer that does the computation in lakehouse is typically built on top of Apache Spark framework, which is the preferred engine for processing big data because of its distributed computing capability and high performance. Fabric provides a native lakehouse experience that's based on the open source Delta Lake file format and a managed Spark runtime. So Fabric provides a native lakehouse experience that's based on the open source Delta Lake file format and a managed Spark runtime. So there are a few things which we can note down. One is lakehouse supports structured, semi-structured and unstructured data. Then it is built, the compute layer in lakehouse is built on top of Apache Spark framework, which is like the preferred engine for big data processing because of its distributed computing capability and high performance. Okay, then Fabric provides a native lakehouse experience that's based on open source Delta Lake file format. Okay, there is a file format, Delta Lake file format, and managed Spark runtime. Okay, a lakehouse implementation typically uses the medallion architecture. In this architecture, the bronze layer contains the raw data, the silver layer contains the validated and deduplicated data, and the gold layer contains highly refined data for business facing use case. This approach works across all organizations and industries. The medallion architecture is the standard approach, but you can adapt it for your needs. This architecture creates a lakehouse by using native Fabric component. Let us understand what is medallion architecture. So what is medallion lakehouse architecture? Medallion lakehouse architecture describes a series of data layers that denotes the quality of data stored in the lakehouse. Azure Data Brick recommends taking a multi-layer approach to building a single source of truth for enterprise data products. This architecture guarantees atomicity, acid properties of database, atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability as data passes through multiple layers of validation and transformations before being stored in a layout optimized for efficient analytics. The term bronze, silver and gold describes the quality of data in each layer. So bronze, it seems, is raw. Bronze is raw data, silver is validated data, and gold is enriched data. I see. So there are various, all the inputs, data sources. Bronze is like raw data, silver is validated data, and then gold is processed data. Okay. So this is called as medallion lakehouse architecture. We can come back to this later, but I don't think we need to know in much detail. We just understood like the lakehouse implementation typically uses the medallion architecture. In this architecture, the bronze layer contains the raw data, silver layer contains the validated data and deduplicated data, and the gold layer it contains the highly refined data for business facing use cases. This approach works across all organizations and industries. The medallion architecture is the standard approach, but you can adapt it for your need. Okay. The architecture creates a lakehouse by using native fabric components. Okay. This is a lot to consume for a newbie. It's like me, but got to know few things. Again, re-emphasizing on what I should take from this paragraph is the lakehouse is built on open source file format. This is one. Secondly, it supports structured, semi-structured and unstructured data. And the compute layer is built on compute layer for lakehouse is built on top of Apache Spark framework, which is the preferred engine for processing big data because of its distributed computing capability and high performance, which is this. And then Fabric provides a native lakehouse experience that's based on open source Delta Lake file format and a managed Spark runtime. And then the lakehouse implementation typically uses the medallion architecture, which is like 3 layers through which data processes, bronze being the raw, silver being the validated and deduplicated data, and the gold being the refined data for like business facing use cases. Let me quickly do a search on like what is Delta Lake file format. Need to know a basic introduction. Okay, Delta Lake. Delta Lake file format is an open source storage layer that brings ACID transactions, data versioning and scalable metadata to data lakes, storing data in Apache Parquet format along with a JSON based transaction. I'm trying to understand what is file format. Okay, Spark reads Delta Lake file formats and loads it into a table. It writes, Spark I think writes Delta file format. This name. Delta Lake is often used to build lakehouse architectures, combining the low cost storage of data lake with the reliability and structure of data warehouses. I want to stick to Microsoft's documentation. So what is Delta Lake in Azure Databricks? Okay, Databricks, Azure Databricks. Delta Lake is optimized storage layer that provides the foundation for table in lakehouse on Databricks. Delta Lake is open source software that extends Parquet data file format in a file based transaction log for ACID transaction. Build lakehouses with Delta Lake. Delta Lake is open source storage framework that enables building a format agnostic lakehouse architecture that with compute engines including Spark, PrestoDB. Lot to grasp for me, but I don't see Delta Lake in this diagram. Okay, I think I'll do this some other day. But Delta Lake is a file format, which I understood. Fabric provides a native lakehouse experience that's based on the open source Delta Lake file format and managed Spark runtime, which is coming from Apache Spark framework, which is the compute layer in lakehouse. It is the preferred engine for processing big data because of its distributed computing capability and high performance. Okay, and then lakehouse typically lakehouse implementation typically uses medallion architecture, which is like 3 layers: raw data, refined data, and then raw data, validated data, and then refined data. Let us move ahead. This architecture creates a lakehouse by using native Fabric components. Now, step 1. Data ingestion via data fabric. The Azure data fabric, I misread it. Step 1, data ingestion via data factory. The Azure data factory feature in Fabric provides the capability of the Azure Data Factory service, which is a widely used data integration service. Data Factory service mainly provides orchestration capabilities via pipelines, but the feature in Fabric provides both pipelines and data flow. Data pipeline provides built-in rich data orchestration capabilities. I'm not understanding this right now, so I think I'll stop the video and I'll start from here in the next video. Thank you guys.